Hello, family. It's the Old School Traveler. I'm back here, and I'm going to tell you about a city that I love and I hate. It's Bangkok, Thailand. And you see, I can talk about Bangkok because, you see, I used to live there for work. Yeah, I lived there for work. Bangkok got a lot of good and a lot of bad. It depends on how you want to treat yourself in Bangkok. You see, Bangkok is a city that's got a very, very seedy side to it. It's a pretty city, a nice skyline, and it's very, very cheap. I mean, very, very cheap. Everything there costs like a quarter of what it costs in the States. And you can get anything there you want. You can get anything there you want. Bootleg, buy it, whatever, however you want to do it. I remember when I lived there, if you want any new computer program or any kind of new games or whatever, you can buy it for a quarter the price. You can get it cheaper than that because everybody bootlegs a lot of stuff there. Now, Bangkok is a city that it's got a lot of city side. Prostitution is legal there. You ain't got to look for nothing in Bangkok. I don't care what it is. You ain't got to look for it. It's going to find you. You can be just walking down the street and you see a street vendor cooking food. Like I said, you ain't got to look for anything. The bars are very, very seedy. You see a lot of old men from around the world, primarily the United States and Western Europe, with girls that look young enough to be, I don't know, their great granddaughter. Yeah, you see a lot of that. And the people there, they will rip you off if you let them. And I don't mean come and pickpocket you. I mean, they have a price for foreigners. They have a price for the locals. You don't see a lot of prices on things when you walk around Bangkok and you shopping. Now, even though it may be cheap to you, it still is expensive to the Thais. So they give them a whole different price. So, like I said, it's a seedy city, and you got a lot of bars, a lot of girls. Some are aggressive, but and the later the night goes, the more aggressive they get. That's Bangkok. I was going to put a video up of me walking around Bangkok, but I think I'm going to do something more fun. Like San Diego Zoo. I'm going to put a video of that kind of stuff up. I don't want to put a lot of city stuff up. Now, I was not in the city areas very much. I like the downtown. I like the food. Now, Bangkok, you can get any kind of food. It's definitely one of the top 5 food cities in the world. You can get any food you want, and it's cheap. You can get any food you want, and it's very, very cheap. And all the food is good. You just can't go wrong in Bangkok. I usually eat the street food. You can't go wrong. And then also I had a lot of clothes made. They all tailor made, and they're cheaper than Walmart. They're cheaper than Walmart, and they're gonna fit you the way you want it to fit when you walk away with your product. Now, one of the other things about Bangkok I like a lot. This is what I like a lot. Bangkok is a great city to live in because you can travel direct to almost any city in Asia. You can go direct, and it's very, very cheap to fly the Thai Airways or one of the other airlines. And you can always just use it to go to other parts of Thailand, like Phuket, like Chiang Mai. For $150 you get a round trip ticket. You can't go wrong. I mean, Bangkok is a very, very cheap city to travel to other parts of Asia, and you're gonna get great food, and the people are nice. The ones that speak English, they're very, very nice. Now, the only people that was kind of rude were the men, and I can understand that because a lot of their relatives, female relatives, are in the bar scene, and like I said, a lot of guys go there to find their last wife. They hope. But those women have long-term plans because when you see a 19 or 20-year-old with a 70-year-old guy, yeah, she ain't in love. She ain't in love. No. A lot of guys will believe that. She knows that she's going to either outlive him, which she is, or she can have the one baby and get alimony or child support for life because in her country, that money goes a long way and takes care of the entire family. I used to talk to a couple guys there that married Thai women. It was not good. No, not for them anyway. Because see, when a Thai man marries a Thai woman, they get divorced He don't pay anything. He don't pay nothing for the kids or her. Most Western countries aren't like that. Nope, they are totally different. So my take on Bangkok, oh, and the one thing I got to tell you, it's not a family-friendly city at all. No, 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 no. It's not a family-friendly city at all. You get what you get. You know, it's made for old men or businessmen. If you don't fall into that category, then you're not going to like Bangkok. You're not going to like it. But there are a lot of things to do. You got a nice zoo. You know, you got downtown. You can go shopping. You can go eating. It's got all that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of attractions. You know, but like I said, I used it primarily when I was there. I just went to other places to visit. Then like Singapore, Vietnam. You know, I went to see other parts of Asia, Australia, wherever it is that I want to go. Bangkok is great for that kind of stuff. But if you got kids, it's not so great. Now, I don't mean the schools. It's just that Bangkok is not family friendly unless you live in suburbs where everybody is have kids or they're foreigners and their kids are in the school system. Then that could be all right. But if you sit there and you think that Bangkok is going to be something that kids are going to want to go downtown and all that, no. You go downtown, you don't see a lot of kids out. No. But don't get me wrong, they got some poor areas too. And the poor areas are kind of big because Bangkok got like about 20 million people. It's a huge city. It's on the scale of New York when it comes to population and how it's spread out. Bangkok is a big city and they got a lot of pollution. And I don't mean trash everywhere because the streets aren't too bad. At least where I was at, downtown a lot, you know, the streets were not too bad, but the air pollution is horrible. I mean, very, very horrible. Smoke is all over you during the summertime when they're when they're burning woods, or the smoke comes from Malaysia or wherever they're burning all these woods and forests and stuff. Bangkok is terrible. You know, if you got any kind of lung problems, don't go to Bangkok. It is not the city for you. So, saying that, every single fast food joint or chain restaurant in America or in the world is in Bangkok. That's the beauty of it. If you get into that kind of food, but I would never eat Western food in Bangkok because Thailand got so much great food. I mean, it makes you eat when you don't want to eat, and you know you eat and the food tastes great, and you're not full, or you're full but you're not bloated. You know, you're not bloated. So you're sitting there and you're just having a good time, and 2 hours later, you're eating something else. And it seems like everybody in Thailand can cook. Seems like everybody can. Yeah, I didn't run into not one single meal that didn't feel right. You know, not undercooked or any. You know, I even ate frog legs. Love them now. I mean, now we got some weird eating habits, and so do they. But for the most part, they cook the same, and they love spices. God, they love spices, and so do I. Everything tastes the way it should taste, you know. And even, you know, if you go where the Thais go to eat, you'll enjoy Bangkok food a lot more than you would if you just go eat anywhere Westerners eat. Because I can go to KFC and TGIFs and all that stuff and McDonald's in this country. I don't need to go to Thailand for that. And for the price of food, I was going to try everything. I was going to experiment with everything you can imagine. And I did. And boy, did I have a good time. We used to see, we had a contest when I was there that during lunchtime on Wednesdays, who could find the cheapest meal for lunch. And we had so much fun doing that because we tried 100 different restaurants. We ate street food. We ate everything. And, you know, for $1, $2, you can get a full lunch. I mean, a full lunch, and sometimes cheaper than that. It depends on what part of the city you go to. Now, we primarily was downtown eating street food and eating certain restaurants that we had heard about. But if you go to some of the poor areas and you eat street food, the price is different. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Now, I'm not saying the quality is better. I'm not saying that because I wonder about the quality on a few things. But we had such a blast eating the food, though. And it just gave us something to do on a boring Wednesday. Especially gives, it's going to be hot. Bangkok is hot. It's hot every damn day. And when it rains, it pours. But you always can go visit someplace an hour outside of Bangkok, and you'd be shocked that everything is totally different for such a small country. Now, it's a long country distance-wise, but it's a small country size-wise. But and the airport, the new airport, easy to navigate. It's just a long ways from the city center. But I guess it's like any other big city. You build a new airport, it's not going to be downtown. It's definitely going to be a long way from the center of population. Now, saying that, I wouldn't trust the people, not the ones that uneducated. The ones that are educated, I wouldn't trust them either. I wouldn't trust them either. But I would have more faith that I wouldn't get cheated as bad with them. But the ones that are educated are generally smarter, so they just got a better con game than the ones who are not. But you see, you go downtown. It's easy to get around. Bangkok is easy to get around. Bangkok is one of those cities that everybody got a side hustle. Whether it's 5 jobs, whether it's working at the bar at night, whether it's being a gate guard, whether it's Thai boxing, everybody got a side hustle. And, I like that because it's hard to make it in almost any big city with just one job, unless you got a lot of education or your parents or somebody like that is helping you out. Now, one thing I can tell you about Bangkok, you don't talk bad about the king or the king's family. No, that's a no-no. And some people go over there and they say things and blah, blah, blah. You don't know what you're talking about. Is their culture, is their way of doing things. Are you going to agree with everything? No. But nobody agrees with everything in any new country. But I never had any issue. And the police, for the most part, I didn't see anybody taking bribes. It's not, I'm sure they could be, but I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that, nor do I know anybody who tried to do that, because you don't want to go to jail in Thailand. You have Africans come there and they go to jail for drugs or heroin or opium or whatever it is that they're trying to sell, from the Golden Triangle, and it doesn't look pretty on TV. You're taking a risk. If you don't have a job, don't go. But a lot of retirees go there. I mean, a lot of retirees go there because, like I said, they're looking for their last wife, or who they believe their last wife is going to be. Because, you see guys with girls that damn well, if they was in America, they could not get a girl like that. That. And chances are you're probably one of them too. But you see a lot of old guys with young people. Young girls and stuff, and hell, some of them are even boys. You see a lot of that. So, saying all that, would I go to Bangkok? Hell yeah, I would go back, because there are a lot of things to see. I like watching the elephants come by in parades and stuff. I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, and for the most part, they smile a lot. And I think the Thai people, for the most part, are happy people because they're always smiling. I think they're happy people, and they will do their best to help you if you're lost or if you want to, try and get somewhere. Now, the language is difficult because the language is a tonal language. A tonal language. See, every country got words that you can read, and it means 2 different things. You get an example: read and read, live and live. But theirs based on your tone or your voice. And you can be saying, I love you, raise your voice just a little bit, and that might mean I kill you. It's a tough language. Most languages in Asia are very difficult to learn without taking formal classes to learn those languages. And now I know enough to get around and ask where this is, that, but by no means do I speak that language enough to have a conversation. No, I can't converse in it, but I know enough words to say to get out of whatever predicament I'm in. So, and it's not like a lot of countries where a good majority of the population speaks English or Spanish as a backup language. No, not in Thailand. Very few of them. Their English is about as great as my Thai. Enough to say hi, bye. Can you know how much is this? They know enough to say that, but they do not speak English. Hand gestures work in some countries, but not there, because and then also, the feet is the nastiest part of the body to them. I agree with that too. I'm not a feet person at all. The only feet I like is pig's feet, and I like to see them cut off, and I'm getting ready to eat them. But as far as getting around, it's so cheap. It's so cheap getting around Bangkok. It's not a lot of work. Bangkok is easy to get around. Now, you're going to find a lot of foreigners there. And you're going to ask yourself, what are they doing? A lot of them looking for wives or girlfriends or whatever you want to call it. That's what a lot of them are doing. So that's kind of weird when you see that, because some of the men are just disgusting, and I guess they accept the fact that I'm going to take care of some, young girl for the next 60 years because I'm going to be dead in 5 of those years. And you can't be doing nothing in the bedroom with them. You can't be doing nothing in the bedroom with them. Not when you're 70, 75, 80 years old. It's just like when you go there, everybody is small. You don't see a bunch of fat Thais. You just don't see it. So if you're a fat American, why in the hell would you go to a country with everybody small? You stand out. And the reason I bring that up, because the aisles and places you go are not designed for fat people. They're not designed for fat people. In some places, fat people just should not go. Thailand is one of them. I don't care if you're a woman or a guy. But if you're a guy, you got an advantage. You can buy yourself a wife. You may say, I get people saying, I'm not paying her, or I didn't give her family a dowry. Bullshit. Yes, you did. You may not directly given her $10,000, $20,000 or 5 pigs or 3 cows. You may not have done that. But you are shopping and buying her clothes and doing all kind of other stuff. That's like a dowry. And every smart man knows with a woman, you got to pay for it either at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. But you got to pay for it. And these people are not shy because they're going to take care of their family. They are going to take care of their family. So they're not shy about that at all. But you do get people who tell you, no. And here's a tidbit that everybody should know. Anybody in their own country that's doing good ain't going to leave. No, they're not going to leave. If I'm a doctor in my own country, I'm not leaving. Unless there's political instability, I'm not going to leave. That's just how it works. People who are doing good don't leave. People who are doing bad is trying to get the hell out. So the people that you guys are in there with, they're trying to get the hell out. And that's just the way it is. But you get people saying it's all about love, this and this. No. Marriage is an economic decision to those women. It's strictly about economics. That's what marriage is to those women. It ain't got shit to do with I love you or not. It's strictly economics. There's a means to a better life. That's the path I'm going to take, because we all do that. We all looking for that path. Now in Thailand, you go there, you may not want to leave. But I was ready to leave because I said, this is not a family environment. This is, people are nice for the most part. But are they nice because they like me, or are they nice because I'm paying their salary? So you got to ask yourself a lot of questions. But a lot of, especially guys, they're blind to all that. They think that they're going to go there and find somebody subservient. You may find somebody like that, but guess what? Once she learns the American ways, she wants her rights. And God knows you owe her a lot of years of her rights not being honored. And she's going to find some American or some other Thai who knows the game, and they're going to play you. I've seen so many guys go over there and get divorced and all kind of stuff. Yeah, they got played. Yeah, they all got played. But they go over there thinking they're the one that's going to be different. No, you're not. No, you're not. When you're 65, 70, and she's 20, you got about 20 years left in your life. You get about 20 years left, maybe 25 years left when you're 65 and 70. But guess what? She got a whole nother life to live after you die. Yes, that becomes obvious. Then she comes, and then she comes to America, and some of them don't even want to leave Thailand. They just want your salary in Thailand, which is smart. But you get a few who come to America and realize this is not my country, or I'm going to find me another American. Once I had that one kid by you, I got child support for life. I can go anywhere in the world because I know I got a check for life coming in. And if you die soon enough, I'm going to get Social Security for a long time for this little baby I got over here. Now, Thailand is a place that I like the shopping. I like the fact that I can travel all over Asia and nothing is far other than Australia. I like all that. I like having a city, kind of like Panama. I like having a city I can jump off and jump to other parts of the world and see other parts of the world, especially the parts I really, really been wanting to go to my whole life. Thailand is like that. So if you go there, you got to tell yourself it's hot. It's got a big seedy side to the city. Things are cheap. But if they can get more money out of you, they will. That's just most business people in general. If they can get more money out of you, they will. Like I said, I live there. I have visited 3 or 4 times for work, but I'm always in the core business districts wherever I travel. That was always my case. But when I live in the suburbs, but I would have to go through the other seedier parts of town to get downtown. So that's where I saw a lot of things. And then you talk to people who live downtown and they tell you about all the bars, all the stuff they like doing. And I'm thinking that's all you want to see and do in the rest of your life. Something's wrong with you. But it is what it is, though. But Thailand is definitely a city. If you don't have anything, you can make it because it's a city of hustlers. I'm talking about not necessarily grifters, which is a negative word, and grifters are usually negative people. I'm talking about everybody is trying to make it, and you can make it because you can buy a food cart, you can buy a tuk-tuk, you can do all kind of stuff, and you can make some money. I'm not saying a lot of money, but at least you can make enough to almost live on, if not live on. You can do that kind of stuff in Thailand. And so that's my take on Thailand, on Bangkok. And like I said, I lived there, so this is not just me visiting for a week and saying I know all about Thailand. No, I lived there for a few years. So I know quite a bit about it, saw a lot, and I've been there in about 4 or 5 years. No, the last time I was there 4 or 5 years ago, I was there 3 weeks ago here. And, me and the family had a good time. Now that they're older, they're bigger, because there's so many things to do. We're like, okay, we can do a lot of things in Thailand. But when I was, when I lived there, I'm like, this is not too much fun. Not with a family. Now, if you don't go there and just get drunk and chase women and all that kind of stuff, by all means, you're going to enjoy the hell out of Bangkok. So this is the Old School Traveler telling you, I just got back from Bangkok. I'm getting ready to go on my next trip to Puerto Rico, and you'll hear about that in a minute. Peace out, Old School Traveler.